Hello, hello, we are live. Welcome to Cooking with Chef Frank. My name is Frank Kramer and I'm the founder of Eat Like a Vegan Chef. In today's episode, we're going to talk about is diabetes really reversible? Type 2 diabetes. Um, let's wait a few seconds until everyone comes in. And if you don't mind, just saying hello, introducing yourself, so that I know you're there. It's always more fun to talk to an audience. Hello, everyone. Okay. Um, in today's live stream, I talk about is if diabetes is really reversible, and this is such a hot topic. It's just incredible. Um, Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Please, if you don't mind, just say hello, so I know you're there. It's Eileen. That's nice. Thank you. Um, yes, in it is really such a hot topic, and I got to tell you, I have been talking to a lot of people lately, um, asking what they can do, to get off their diabetes medicine. I'm not a doctor. I cannot give medical advice. The only thing I can tell you is that the meal plans that have been producing have been nothing but, you know, how can I say that? I don't want to tweet my own horn. It's just they have been a blessing to a lot of people. So from that point of view, um, food can be a cure. And I'm not saying that diabetes can be cured, but it can be reversed. That's for sure. Um, Again, if you are on metformin or any type of medicine, it is always good to check with your doctor first before you start a plant-based or whole food plant-based lifestyle. So before we start all of that, I want to give you a little idea where we are with type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is the second, the seventh leading cause of death in America. And it will be estimated that by 2030, diabetes is the number one leading cause of death. And it is so avoidable. It is completely avoidable. And that's the sad part of it. So right now, as of this study here, and this is a little older study already, high blood pressure is actually the number one cause of death. And then diet is number two. Tobacco is number three. Air pollution number four, which we cannot really, that's not up to us to control unless you move from one area to another. Um, Cholesterol is the next one. So it's, if you see this here, we have diet, we have um, overweight, obesity, we have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diet. These are all um, lifestyle related death, which can be avoided, in my opinion. So, what's the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes? Type 1, you cannot produce any insulin. Your pancreas has stopped producing insulin, and from that point of view, you need insulin or you're going to die. Type 2 diabetes is when you become insulin resistant, and your body or your cells cannot absorb the insulin. There is a very simple way to explain this, and I think Dr. Bernard is a perfect example who said it in a really cool way. Um, when you eat animal products, those saturated fats going to be stuck in your cells, in the entrance of your cells. So when the glucose enters the bloodstream, it's trying to go into actually when glucose is in your bloodstream, insulin is being uh, secreted from your pancreas. The insulin acts as a key to let the glucose into your cell. So, but we have our fat blocking the cell, the key. You could see it in such a way that if you put chewing gum into the lock of your front door, you cannot get in, and you don't want to try it because you're going to mess it up. So you have to clean it out. And in order to clean it out, the only way to do this is to let go of animal products, to let go of saturated fats, whether plant-based or animal products, oils, very, very important, and any type of fats for that matter, but in particular animal products. Once you do that, you will see that the insulin will actually be able to open up the cell, and the glucose will be absorbed into the cell, and that's when we can burn the glucose. So the problem here is, oh, I forgot again my. Let me get my headphones. I see that some of you maybe not be able to hear me as good. Sorry about that. 1 second. Okay, want to make sure that can you guys hear me properly? Okay. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me properly. Um, okay, so when the animal fats blocking the entrance of the cell, the insulin cannot get in. So that means the insulin is floating in your bloodstream over and over and it's trying to get into the cell. But as long as we have saturated fats there, it cannot enter. So the pancreas releasing more insulin in hope to get the glucose into the cell, but with no success. And that's how how we become insulin resistant. You see, the pancreas is constantly giving out insulin and nothing happened. So that means we're getting more and more of this insulin in our blood and more glucose. That means our glucose level is going to go up, A1C is going to go up. And that's why insulin is called the fat hormone, the where we get the obese hormone, so to speak. And that's in very simple terms explained how diabetes happens. So if we continue the cycle, um, we get more and more insulin in our body, more um, um, glucose, and that's how we become sick. Then we go to the doctor. The doctor said, well, you have to reduce your carbs. That's a very common answer. Okay, so you keep eating animal products and you reduce your carbs in hope that everything is going to get better. In the beginning, yes, it may drop a little bit, but the more meat you eat, the more you clog up your cells. And it's a vicious cycle. So the only way to improve the situation is to let go of animal products. That's what it all comes down to. And it's not only me who's saying this, it's a whole lot of doctors who are behind there, a whole lot of scientific evidence now that a whole food plant-based lifestyle may reverses diabetes. It all depends how far you have already come with your diabetes. Some people, the problem is, um, there's so many side effects with diabetes that diabetes is the leading cause of blindness, kidney and heart disease. It's really sad to see what's happening. People get blind, people lose their limbs because there is too much sugar in the blood, too much insulin, and it just harms every organ in our body. Even if you're pre-diabetes, it's already harming all your organs. So you want to make sure that you keep your glucose and your A1C at a decent level, not in a pre-diabetes, in a below that. And the only way to do that is through a whole food plant-based lifestyle. And it's not always, you know, I see a lot of people who have transitioned to a whole food plant-based lifestyle, and they still haven't improved because there's a certain system how to activate and how to reduce all these sugar levels in your blood. Um, for instance, we actually have a lot of uh, members in our group who have diabetes, and I would say most of them have reduced their levels, and a lot of them already came off their medicines. It all depends how long you have been on the medicine. But what I realized is, in the beginning, when you start, uh, you have had animal products all your life, and then you suddenly switch to a whole food plant-based lifestyle. So your sugar levels may spike for the first 2 or 3 days, and you might think, "Ooh, what's going on?" It may. It doesn't have to be. And the reason why is your last meal really determines how much your sugar level spikes the next day. So that means if you had a piece of steak or chicken or salmon the night before, that means you have those saturated fats in your blood. And the next morning, you have one of my salads, um, with lots of fruit and vegetables on it, then your sugar level may spike. Once you have transitioned to this lifestyle into maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, your blood sugar is going to normalize. And I actually have members who started with me during a challenge. I'm thinking about one particular member. She started with me. She had a glucose level of 160 for the last 10 years, she said, and she was never able to go down. Then in the first week of one of my challenges, her glucose level went down to 96, and that's perfect in 1 week. That's how fast it can go. So there is actually, and I'm not a doctor. I didn't give any medicine. I just gave her my meal plans. That's all I did, and it worked. So from that point of view, um, food can be a cure, or you can reverse diabetes, type 2 diabetes with food. So with that being said, I cannot tell you how many people I have spoken to in the last 2, 3 months who have been on metformin, who have type 2 diabetes, and they just simply, you know, didn't take on any advice. We were talking, and when I said, "Okay, I can help you," you know what? Let me see. I'm not ready yet. What are we waiting for? There is, I think sometimes we believe, okay, there is this this hope coming from somewhere and it's going to take my, this diabetes away. But that's not how it's going to be. We have to um, become uncomfortable first to get to the next stage. So the problem is, and that is the culprit why so many of us have, these diseases, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, because we're comfortable. Um, we go to, in the beginning, it's, we go to the doctor and he's telling us, well, you have a little elevated sugar levels. Okay, it's not too bad. And then you go back 6 months later and it's higher again. Then he's going to tell you no carbs and blah blah blah, and that this is how it's inching up. And it's, if we don't do anything, if we don't change our lifestyle, it will never go back on its own ever. There's no such thing. That you know uh, I have seen so many people from different kind of they came from different diets, different lifestyles, and it got worse. And it came to me, and we talked about it, and they implemented a whole food plant-based lifestyle, and everything suddenly reversed. But most of us, and I'm sure it was, I'm talking about myself as well. Before I became a vegan, I always said, it's not a problem. I had high cholesterol, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna tweak my diet a little bit. It's gonna be okay. This is because we feel comfortable. We feel comfortable, and then to continue where I left off, when the doctor said, okay, I think we have to give you some medicine now, then in a way you feel relieved because okay, I'm okay now, so now it's controlled and I can eat whatever I want, and that's great. But that's the problem. When we start getting medication and we continue the way we eat, it's not going to get better, it's going to get worse, because in the end, um, the medicine needs to be increased over time. And it's the same with high blood pressure. In the beginning, it's just water-based high blood pressure, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. The medicine needs to be um, increased over time. Same with high cholesterol, um, because we feel comfortable, and when we feel comfortable, we literally destroy ourselves. I don't want to say destroy is a bad word, but we it's not going to help us. So from that point of view, um, by transitioning to a whole food plant-based lifestyle, we have to get out of our own um, self, become uncomfortable, and do those changes. They're really not that drastic. They are drastic for someone who eats a whole lot of meat and fish and animal products. But I mean, it's easy for me to say because I know how to cook those things for myself. But in the end, you can really cook delicious food and and really improve your diabetes. It's absolutely possible. And so from that point of view, I'm always so surprised when I talk to people, and I have a lot of one-on-one calls, they're trying to get my help. I say, okay, I can help you. Um, but then no one wants to get uncomfortable. I mean, the majority of people doesn't want to take on that change. And I can tell you why this is. It's almost like when you at the Grand Canyon. You're at the Grand Canyon, and looking at the other side of the Grand Canyon, where you see health, you see everything what you ever wanted in your life, and but you have to cross the Grand Canyon. There's a little bridge, and the bridge is shaky, and the drop is very deep. So from that point of view, um, it's sometimes people get discouraged and they get afraid. They say, "Oh my goodness, no, I cannot go on this bridge. I'm going to fall," metaphorically speaking. But when I tell them I have walked this bridge many, many times before, I can help you go over this bridge to the other side because a lot of our members have done it before. A lot of them. I can help you, and a lot of them are not um, willing to do this. So it's very sad to see this. Really, really sad to see. Um, so to come back to carbs, everyone is saying that carbs are the new bad thing in a diet, but it's really not. Carbs are not responsible for diabetes. Fats are, in particular saturated fats. They are responsible that you get diabetes, not carbs. Carbs contribute to it, but in a healthy body where you have little to no uh, fats, you don't have to worry about getting diabetes. But with someone who has a lot of eating a lot of carbs, I'm sorry, a lot of fats, the possibility to get diabetes is much, much greater. So from that point of view, um, there is there's a good chance that if you continue to eat animal products, that your blood sugar goes up. Um, that said, for someone who wants to transition, I would recommend staying with low glycemic foods first in the beginning because they're not going to raise your blood sugar. So from that point of view, there's lists all over the internet. You can just type it in low glycemic fruits and vegetables, um, and if you stick with those, you're actually in a great position to lower your blood sugar. And if you do that, combined with avoiding animal products, you're good to go. So we do this in our community where we have meal plans every week. The meal plans are designed in such a way that most of them are low glycemic, but once you transition, it doesn't really matter if you have improved your blood work, and let's say you don't have diabetes, you're not pre-diabetes, then it doesn't matter. You can eat high glycemic or low glycemic food. It doesn't really matter because any food that is intact, it's whole, has all its fibers in the fruit or vegetable. It takes longer for the body to digest because your body needs to separate the fibers from the sugar, and that's how it's been digested. So, and that's where we come to processed foods. Processed foods are probably um, a great contributor to all these diseases in today's society. So it is very, very important to reduce processed foods as well. Very, very important. Okay. Let me see. I see Lynn is saying she loves carbs. That's great. Any other questions out there? The comments always come very, very late here, so just bear with me until I see the comments here. Yeah, Lynn is saying her son is type 1 diabetes. Wow, 12 years old. See, The problem is with diabetes, um, science, or there's a lot of research out there blaming dairy, and in particular one hormone in the dairy what actually attacks our pancreas, and that seems to be the culprit. So if we continue to eat a lot of dairy, it seems that that could cause type 1 diabetes. It will cause probably type 2 diabetes first, and if we haven't done anything, it may go to type 1 diabetes. Sometimes it's wrong diagnosed by the doctor. They think it's type 2 diabetes when it is type 1. So there's a lot of errors out there as well. Okay. So just to give you an example from one of my members, she joined us in September last year. No, she joined in November last year, and she was on 5 medications: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and on 2 diabetes medicine. Um, in April, she got off of her high blood pressure and high cholesterol medicine, and now it seems she's probably getting off of the diabetes medicine too. At least it has been reduced um, every so often, and she's hoping to get off of diabetes medicine soon. So it is possible. It's definitely possible. Okay, Jeannie is also saying that 3 of my stepchildren are diabetic. It's if it's type 2, you can definitely do something about it. You can in either way. If you're type 1 and you eat a whole food plant-based lifestyle, you actually can decrease the amount of insulin needed. So from that point of view, it's definitely beneficial. You cannot cure it or reverse it, but type 2 diabetes is definitely, you can improve your condition. Yeah, Janine says it's type 2, so you can definitely do something about it. A whole food plant-based lifestyle is the way to go to um, improve your situation there. It's also when you cannot forget that when you're pre-diabetic, you're already attacking your organs. The sugar is attacking your organs. So from that point of view, you really um, should think of transitioning to a whole food plant-based lifestyle. It is a lifesaver. Okay. Okay. I'm just reading the comments here. And of course, when you think about the way we eat right now, uh, I cannot, but I always have to think about our climate. We uh, we are so used to eating animal products that we are completely forget our surroundings. We uh, we love our meat so much that we forget about our climate. It is right now. It is proven that food, or at least livestock, is partially responsible for our climate change. Not 100%, but at least 30%, at least. So if we can um, make a choice by not eating meat or animal products, we contribute to a lower carbon footprint, and everyone can contribute. So you could start with Meatless Monday. That's one way to start. Then you can make it Monday and Wednesday meatless, and then you can make it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, for instance. So there are ways to reduce the amount of animal products we eat. So from that point of view, it's all possible. It's just it has to start with us. We have to become comfortable, so to speak. When you become uncomfortable by taking on a new lifestyle, first of all, you will help yourself, you will help the environment, you will help the animals, you will help. I mean, it has a incredible effect on your environment. So there is a big opportunity right now for all of us, and I think this is very important. Okay. Yeah. So talking about climate change, I know I bring this up very often, but I think it's very important. The water footprint of water is just absolutely incredible. For instance, just um, a turkey sandwich with cheese is 240 gallons of water just for one sandwich to produce. It's there's an algorithm where you calculate how much water um, corn needs to grow, how much wheat, uh, how much water wheat needs to grow, and this is all calculated. And then there's actually websites out there you can look up what each food actually uh, results in our water footprint. But when it comes to beef, when it comes to animal products, they are our highest water footprint, beef in particular. So, uh, I mean, beef is 1,800 gallons per pound. There's a regular cow weighs 1,800 pounds. So there's 1,800 gallons times 1,800 pounds. Calculate that. And then we slaughter about 30 million cows per year. So I put it in a calculator the other day. It came up to trillions of gallons of water. And and now we're seeing certain states or countries getting low on water. We only have 1% of fresh water in this world, and we use all that water for livestock. I know we need to have livestock. The industry needs to live, and that's is understandable. But the individual of all of us can make a decision or can make um, you know we can choose to eat less of those animal products, and it will help the environment. It will help um, your own situation. You will improve your life. Let me see, I have a comment here. Maggie says, I became a vegetarian in 1980 for the animals, myself, and the environment. Was still eating a little yogurt and cheese, though this choice didn't sit well with me because of the abusive dairy industry. Yes, yeah. Congrats. Very good, Maggie. Excellent. Thank you, Barbara. Really appreciate it. Um, yes, so by simply choosing a whole food plant-based lifestyle, you can not only save your life, but you can save the life of so many others. You can save the life of countless animals. You can save the life of those who are not born yet. I know it sounds a little cheesy, but here's the thing. If we don't get climate change under control, then our children going to suffer the consequences. And I'm a firm believer that if we don't take action now, they will not have the same benefits we had. And I believe that we should leave this world the way we found it. And right now, we are able to enjoy all the benefits what this world is giving us. Everything. We have fresh water, we have everything we want to our fingertips. Everything. And it should be the same way for our children. They deserve the same. And in my opinion, if we don't do this, and when they grow up, they will blame us, and that doesn't sit right with me. This is, we can that we talk about again, getting uncomfortable, getting, doing something for the greater good, or at least if it's for myself. If I choose to uh, get better, well, then I let go of animal products and I feel better. But for people like Maggie, it is absolutely necessary to let go of animal products because she believes in uh, for the greater good. And by doing so, you actually helping yourself and you're helping the environment. And that is so, so, so important. So important. Um, Maggie says she's vegan for nearly 10 years. I eat consciously and happy and healthy. Excellent. Great, Maggie. Um, yeah, so from excellent. So from that point of view, you can literally help the environment by eating less animal products and helping yourself getting I always have to remember I apologize if I bring up those the people I talk to on a regular basis. um, they're on so much medication and they do not accept the fact that a whole food plant-based lifestyle can help them. It's just I don't understand. They continue to do what they've been doing and expect different results. As Tony Robbins said, if you continue what you have been always doing, you will receive the same results. And so we got to change something. And in order to get um, get better, to improve our situation, we just have to get uncomfortable. That's all there is to it. And when I transitioned to a vegan lifestyle, because and I did it first, I did it because I had so much cholesterol in my blood. My cholesterol was at 260, and I wanted to do something. So I said I'll become a vegan. But little did I know then, that was a long time ago, I I ate no animal products, but I would eat more junk vegan. And I went back to the doctor a year later, and my cholesterol was still high. So you have to see it, with a grain of salt. Not every vegan diet is healthy. So that's why we have to look into how can we tweak this? How can we tweak this that, first of all, we are eating healthier and we're doing something for the greater good. That's when the whole food plant-based lifestyle comes in. And I've seen it. So I said after 1 year running around with the same cholesterol levels, I said, you know what, I gotta change it. So I tweaked it. I created my own meal plans. After, of course, I got certified in whole food plant-based nutrition by Dr. Campbell, and reading literally hundreds of nutrition books from all the leading doctors out there. I took a little bit of everyone, put it together, and combined it with my own um, cooking experience. I've been cooking for over 30 years. Um, I graduated from culinary school and food technology. So I put all this together and I came up with my own meal plans, and it worked. Within 2 months, my cholesterol was down. My running performance went from a 11 down to 8, sometimes 7. Was just incredible. It was I could run faster without even feeling it. It was just absolutely incredible. Being, you know, feeling fit, feeling great on a diet like this, on a lifestyle. To me, it's priceless. You wake up in the morning, everything is great. You feel good. You feel light. You feel. energized. What could be better? What could be better? You know? Yeah. So yeah, I would say that's my presentation today for diabetes. I think I gave you a little bit of a hint. Anyone interested, contact me at eatlikeaveganchef.com. I'd be happy to help. We have monthly challenges. We right now we are in a challenge, but our next challenge will be in September, September 20th. I'm also going to have a masterclass in the week of the challenge, the week before the challenge. That's probably I think it's September 15th or something. I will have a masterclass. Um, I will. Anyone interested, just sign up on my website for the challenge, and I will also let you know about the masterclass. So that's always very interesting. I I cap the amount usually at 200 people. So make sure you get your seat or you get your register. Um, yeah, I would say thank you so much for listening to me, and I wish you all the best. Be safe and think plant based.